Morning, guys. We're having a nice little snow. So that's pretty good. We might go riding tonight or for sure tomorrow. So basically on today's list is to get the skidoo wrapped up. Alright, I got these two guys wrapped up. So I had to oil the collar there. I don't know if you know what a cheap snowmobile shop are. It's just like these guys actually. So last night we got the track all straightened out, greased almost everything, took the gear case apart, changed the oil. This morning I emptied the pan. There hardly was any oil in it, only a few ounces. So this morning I greased some more things like the front spindles. I actually forgot to grease the ski. But I got the shocks moved up in the top position. So now it's, I don't know, probably sitting as high as it can. It'd be good if we could raise this rear end up a few more inches. The front end is next to the highest notch. Yeah, the skidoo is still pretty low, but it's as high as it can go. We got the hood hinge fixed. Oh, I was going to show you it took a little work to get the solder to stick to the stainless steel strips on the heating elements. So I stole some grips off some old razor scooter. But basically I peeled the heater element off, turned it up so I could see it, ground it with a Dremel with a grinding abrasive ball. I had to find some metal on the handlebar to kind of clean up the, because you get plastic caught in your abrasive ball. So there are 3 contact wires. I just touched those. Got them clean. You kind of got to grind stainless steel before it takes solder. So I turned these up and then turned them around. There's a little notch in the handlebar where the wires pass through. So your connections are all up here. And then I taped everything with electrical tape. Slid those on and bang, boom. Also raised the bars up just a few more, just another inch or 2. So they're about the same as the Yamahas. I think they're pretty comfortable. I really can't go any higher because there's just not enough cable left to pull on, basically. So these two guys are ready to ride. Got that wrapped up. My old 2 are out here, and then the red one I got inside. Whew, it's getting nippy out here. It's really kind of cold. I was pretty warm in here, the heat running almost the whole time. But the good news is, we got it in here. I'm just not looking forward to this whole process of a project. But I did get the cowling up here. It looks like that switch right there is factory, actually, because everything, here it is. It's even got a real connector harness, so maybe it's legit after all. So, being it's an electrical issue, mean everything is suspect, so could be a connector plug, could be almost anything. So that's the kind of overwhelming bit, but it would be pretty great to have this all. I think the shock towers are taller on the Pro X. It's got this little metal boot. Yeah, plastic. It's just really hard and cold. So I think what I want to do is take off all the yellow stuff. Probably not the footboard. I could take the big wire wheel and grinder in there and probably get most of it off. But if I went and painted all the yellow stuff black, painted the gas tank black, The old air vents in here, the front suspension black. This would be a very clean looking up the plate. Mix up some bed liner, sand the stuff down, and spray it with that black bed liner that's on the truck. Stuff is really, really hard. I don't like it for a truck bed, but it'd probably do pretty good on here. It'd be harder than the plastic, the receptive plastic. So this tank got an extra bulge on the side here versus the regular tanks of the Edge. And then the Pro X has got this big plastic wedge in the back. Makes the rear end look big. So it'd be pretty cool. You can make a pretty good touring snowmobile if you went and raised the front end up equally. You could even move the seat up onto here, and then there'd be a touring sled, really, or a trail sled. So it's got a lot of rollers. I'm not sure I understand why it's got so many more rollers than the regular snowmobiles do. I mean, I take it that that's a trail sled, and this is a Pro X motocross or whatever. I don't know. I tried to do a search on YouTube or somewhere, or on Google, to see what a Pro X snowmobile actually does. I'd assume they do jumps and flips and stunts like Nitro Circus or something on it, but I guess I still don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't like the stupid plastic spacer, but yeah, if you were to bed liner the tank and bed liner all the yellow stuff, move the seat up and forward, that'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to make kind of a little toolbox under the seat and flip the seat over like they used to. That was really cool. I don't understand why they got away from that. Utility, you know, you need a place to put your tow rope, or maybe you're out tending the cows or whatever, because I'm sure people still use things for what they're actually created for. Work, tools. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna just get started on this, get picking away. I have the electronics, charging electronics, and I was thinking about just going through it and just having a poke around, trying to understand what the deal is. Probably take the whole exhaust out and different stuff. So, yep, let's go have a poke around. Oh, and another thing. The mail from China finally showed up. It's either threaded phone holders. It'll be the same idea as this right here. Pretty cool. I thought we could basically attach these anywhere using the little threaded stud nut insert. Be pretty cool to have this like on the handlebars or somewhere where you do some filming. I edit on my phone, so transferring files would be a little bit of a job. It could be done through move it from the phone to a laptop and then to the phone again. So I'm not sure. It's just an extra step. I usually eat supper and then sit back and let the family finish their food and do the editing while they get done. And then by the time I'm out on my back, it can upload overnight. So that's how I've been doing it. Alright, well, that's the only thing that came. We're still waiting on the flywheel and electronic set that's in the mail. I was going to say it's for something. It could be it's for whatever one. So I have the puller and I finally bought bolts, so I should be able to do a clean pull on this flywheel and not mess it up. So I think the only things left to work on anymore is the connector plugs, the voltage regulator, and that's really about it. I think I'm going to put the old CDI box back in and some of the old parts. the airbox is over on the parts table. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do, and I don't know how long or whatever this is going to take. So let's get stuck straight in. Hey, there we are. All right. I just walked in the house for some Tums, and
she said, if you can't ride,
guess
walk.
what?
If you can't walk, crawl.
I saw a strange man's footprints, so
and then she said the words I needed to hear.
Must have been FedEx or UPS.
I trained and trained. There were hills that I
could
go up on a bicycle.
Let's open these guys. There we go. I don't know if Ken Davis is copyrighted, but I hate doing two things at once. All right. So basically, Cricut's giving out new phones to their customers. We've been customers for a couple of years. So it's a free upgrade phone. I guess they're getting rid of 2G and 3G. One of the guys said that they're just going straight 5G, which is pretty impossible. I don't think they can do that. Basically, in this area, they would lose everyone except people in cities. And I don't know how big the cities have to be to actually have 5G, but basically, anyone out here in the country, we still have landlines here, but it's copper wire, and the wires are in bad condition because they only come in and patch them up. So it's just a never-ending circle of problems. So basically it's either 2G, 3G, sometimes we have 4G LTE, but other than that, it's Dish or Elon Musk's satellite. One of the satellites is either crappy landline, crappy cell service, or probably equally crappy satellite. So I've never had satellite, but obviously the satellites are high in the sky. It doesn't really matter where you're at, you'll have good satellite. So if they take away 2 and 3G, we'll be done. We can't function on we can't function without 2 and 3G, because our 4G LTE just comes and goes, and definitely not 5G. 5G is not an option. We probably had to travel to Rochester to be able to use our cell phones. So we'll see if these new phones work, and otherwise we're pretty much going back to smoke signals. So we'll see. If they want to send us free phones, I'll be happy to stay their customer if their services continue to work. If not, we'll be searching for a different carrier. Cricket is part of AT&T, so I don't know where we're going to go next. But that's one box down. Let's open the other one. Well, I think this is off of a 440, not even off a 600, but basically it looks like it's got all the right connector plugs. There's that little white pin one. I don't know where that's off of, but yeah, I'm on disassembling it. So far I've seen kind of like aluminum shreds or something, so it'll be pretty interesting once that flywheel comes off. So let's go tear this apart. So let's have a little story here. I just got a text message from a guy that wants to sell me a snowmobile. It's actually the sparkly blue 1997, I believe, 600 triple with extra 12 in reverse. That was a very nice sled. It was a lady from Canandaigua that owned it, or that drove it. I don't know who owned it. Probably both. I think she took very good care of it, and then a couple of Mennonite boys, I might know some, and some I might not. I don't know how many times it changed hands. A couple times for sure. They probably put all the cracks in it that it had, but boy, over the top it looked really nice. Nice deep blue sparkly paint, and it had the later style. Well, if you were familiar with 1997 models, they have from 95 to 97. They look a lot different. The Polaris actually went through and they got rid of a lot of heavy parts, combined a lot of parts, and they eliminated a lot of parts. So it's a very sleek, and I would guess probably a lot more of a lightweight machine. Not disregarding the extra 12, but it did ride like a couch cushion, like a sofa, and it was almost as long as a sofa too. But point is, she's actually up for sale. I asked him to send me some pictures. I'm gonna see if I can get a price, and then maybe one of us guys would be interested in it. I sold it because I was nervous owning a triple, and I kind of had my heart set on Arctic Cat, but then the way things transpired, I ended up owning a bunch of Polarises after that. So right now I'm kind of satisfied with owning Liberty 600s, and I want to get this junk figured out, and then hopefully, you know, move on to bigger and better things. Well, not necessarily bigger things, but maybe build these up, paint them, make them look nice. Maybe I'll just be the guru of all things Liberty powered, so I don't know. Alright, let's get dug right into the side of this old girl and pray for me as I try and get the flywheel off without wrecking the whole engine. Alright, I didn't get a time lapse because it was on a phone call, but we got her tore apart, and as soon as I got the flywheel loose, well, the flywheel moved, and then I noticed that the coil was also moving, so you can see some wear marks on the old flywheel. So got a visitor. Alright, so this is the used one here. That looks all golden and good. Here's the new used one. Very clean wherever they're getting these parts from. So this guy here, all this stuff was covered in fine dust, kind of like my fingers. And I was going to throw it back in just because I wanted to, just wondering if the parts even work. So apparently, well, there you can see the loose bolts kind of egged out holes. This one's egged out too. So the timing, and then this one's broken off. So I'm going to reuse the fasteners, but I'm not going to reuse the coil. Just because I want to be able to set the timing. So I'm wondering if, given the engine rotation, if this side here is advanced timing and this is retard timing. Because the black sled was right in the middle. And also the old triple I fixed a long time ago was also in the middle. So, I think my best bet for not having this problem happen again is going to be the one that's not all worn out. And then I got 2 tubes of thread locker. I got some good, super expensive electronics cleaner because I'm a tightwad and I don't have brake cleaner. So these are the fasteners for the coil, charging coil. Then these are the fasteners for the other thing. So we'll probably blow these off or whatever and then stick that other coil in. I'm pretty happy with what went wrong. Fortunately, we didn't lose any fasteners because basically it would have gone inside the flywheel and just chewed everything to junk. That might have meant us having a snowmobile die 40 miles from home, which would have meant it being picked up by a truck and trailer later. So I noticed that the other black one was put together with a bunch of Loctite. So I don't think that's factory, but now that we're in here, we need to do it right. We can't have this happen again. So I think the reason the lights were dim is because of the chafing on the charge coils. This is not exactly like a lawnmower coil, but you know, if a lawnmower coil falls against the flywheel, they just die. They won't run. So this must have had some form of hitting, chafing going on. There's a little bit of wear in the retention groove, so having a different good used backer plate is going to be a good help to us in this situation. So that's to if you put pull cord in the spark plug hole, it locks the cylinder up.
Oh, okay.
So if you're tightening a nut or whatever, pretty good trick. So one thing I noticed, I was told that Polaris added extra stuff, strengthening, gusseting to the Pro X sleds. So that's where the factory bulkhead is. So I don't know if the bulkhead here is taller, and then the strut towers are taller too. And I just looked in this crack, and there's a knob there to click to adjust the suspension tension. So to get at the bottom bolts, I drilled a stepper drilled a hole right through. So that allows me to get at the lower. Should be that screw, and then there's a screw right in this range for the charging coils where it bolts to the backer plate. So I unloosen the charging coils just so I can move them around and get to these 3 screws. So we're going to dope them up with some Loctite and send them back in, and hopefully in an hour or two we'll be out ripping the old trail can around. So I'm pretty excited. I'm happy that this was as easy of a fix as it is. I mean, I've had 4 or 5 Polarises now, and every single one of them has had charging or electronic issues of some sort. Alright, let's get straight into it and smash this together. Anyway, we are ready to head in for supper. So, this time lapse is probably going to suck because I was a little bit in and out. So I noticed this bracket here is cracked. Let me move the handlebar. So I don't have an aluminum welder. Well, I have a welder that'll do aluminum, but I don't have anything set up. But what I do have is a piece of steel. So I'm thinking about going in here just like that, and then we'll run a pair of bolts through the bulkhead, and maybe I'll throw this aluminum piece out, maybe not. I have got to see what I've got for options on bolts, but we had to stop and do this because I'm able to stick the drill in there and drill, so that's pretty important. But we got the old flywheel back on, we got the new used electronics in there, and then there's just one more connector plug. I'm gonna plug that back in because it's got dielectric grease on it, and it'd probably be better for it if it wasn't all dirty and stuff. So anyway, looks like I'm gonna need both hands. All right, we didn't get all the way as far as we needed to go, but we have promise. That's what we need, just a promise. So there's all the bits. I can't wait to put it together. I'm pretty excited. I got parts left over for the old the black one, so I can't wait to hear the thing cackle. I also turned the timing ahead just a little bit further than the center of the slot, so a couple of degrees of timing. I'll have to put the coil and all that stuff back in. Hopefully tomorrow, Saturday, we'll be able to rip and ride. Should be a good time. I'm just happy, very thankful and amazed that that this little chunk right here was held in by the washer. That could have fallen out and it would have gone through all of this and wrecked it. Same with these 3 bolts. Any of those could have fallen out too. So we were a little bit puzzled about, you know, the headlights were dim from day one. I think it's pretty obvious that if the rotor was striking the stator, that would ground it out and and make it charge less. I mean, basically, if they're making contact 50% of the time, technically you'd have 50% of the light. So the lights were about half as bright as they should have been. So I don't know how long it was loose, but I know the light's been dim. It's only this, we put on over 100 miles. It was only about the time I got home that the backfiring through the exhaust started, and even warming it up didn't do anything. So it was hanging out in the back of the slot, anywhere from the middle to the back, it bounced back and forth. So, and it got worse over time. At first it would, mid-throttle would hiccup pretty bad, and then full throttle would just rip. But toward the end, it just wouldn't do anything. Almost got stuck in the field that way. So I don't know if that was retarded timing. That should be retarded timing, because the engine rotates clockwise. So basically, forward would be retard timing and backward would be advanced timing. So I went backward just a hair. Hopefully it'll give it a little bit more kick. So I can beat everyone. I can't wait to hear it run. I have a feeling it'll run really nice. I don't know about the brightness of the lights. That's a little puzzling to me. So I don't know what to say about that. So we might be digging in voltage regulators, but knowing that everything's back together, the threads are all Loctited and stuff, that's a good thing. So that should do it. We'll see you guys in the next one where we get this brace in and take this out for a rip and ride. See ya.